picks up a first down.
And I'm going to go back to, we talked to our friends, Charles Bishop and Neely. They follow Jackson State football and having dinner with them. I mean, they said this team feels like nobody can score 3 times on them. 3 times. He didn't say if it was 3 field goals, 3 touchdowns. Prairie View has scored twice. Touchdown, field goal. That's how good this defense is. And, whoa, they are as good as advertised. 4th best in all of FCS.
It got to get to the point where whoever we're doing the broadcast that week of the game, they're going to have to sit down with y'all because y'all know us better than everybody.
Sure.
And y'all know some of the inside stuff
we do.
That I may not tell them because I don't trust them. But
sure. Trust us.
Okay. Trust y'all.
We appreciate that.
We
trust.
appreciate that, Coach.
Much love, baby.
Are you ready for an upgrade? Then come see what we have to offer at the newly renovated Cadillac of Jackson. You'll be able to browse our wide variety of pre-owned vehicles with great prices. Plus, we've also got Cadillac certified pre-owned vehicles that have been tested, inspected, and ready to go. Our team is here and excited to help you with any of your vehicle needs. Visit today and find your next pre-owned vehicle at the brand new state-of-the-art facility at Cadillac of Jackson, Mississippi's exclusive family-owned Cadillac dealer.
Hey, it's Warren Sapp, number 99 in your program, number 1 in your heart. Whenever I look for Jackson State or Coach Prime information, I go to the Pregame Show.
Here at Cadillac of Jackson, we are excited to show you our brand new state-of-the-art facility. Inside our luxurious showroom, come and browse some of our newest models. When you purchase a new or certified pre-owned Cadillac, we'll have it detailed and waiting for you in our beautiful delivery bay. We've even designed a comfortable waiting room with free Wi-Fi to use as needed while your vehicle is being taken care of by one of our certified technicians. Visit today and find your next vehicle at the newly renovated Cadillac of Jackson.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to Stan's?
Since 1987. I've forever loved Stan's Burgers because the people, they're real people. They help the community and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stan's Super Burger to you because, like I said,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and for all those who's listening and watching it from around the world. And we are now live from the corner of Dalton and Lynch Street. It's the show where we take you inside the game before the game begins. It's the Pregame with your host, Charles Bishop and Neely. So get ready because we pregame harder than the other show's party. It's the Pregame.
And welcome into the midweek edition of the Pregame Show. It's Charles Bishop, it's Neely. And guess what? We're coming off of another victory. Neely, what's going on, my brother?
Hey, Chuck, it is hump day. And as they used to say with the P-Funk, I got jam in my legs and I'm ready to spread. All around the world for the funk. Hey, man, midweek, baby, Wednesday. Let's get it, Chuck.
Let's get after it. Jackson State, they take down the Texas Southern Tigers 41-14. Our Jackson State Tigers, they made it over here to Houston, Texas, and they handled business in a very, very mighty way. I tell you what, heck of a win, get on the road, a packed house, if you will, in PNC Stadium. The Astros are going on clinching the World Series, but our Tigers took care of business that night, Neil.
Yes, sir. I don't know what it is, Chuck, about American Airlines. Shout out to American Airlines, the travel partner of JSU Athletics. But when we get on that plane, we start fast. 21 points in that first quarter.
21 points in that first quarter. And I tell you what, like you said, we jumped out fast. We jumped out quick. It was something that the coaching staff has been preaching out for weeks, and to finally see it, come back to fruition, that was huge for our Tiger offense.
Yeah, it was. You still had some sputtering in there to some degree in the first quarter. Gave up a fluke 7 points in the first quarter, but to go out there and really hit the ground running, literally hit the ground running with, and I know we're going to get into Savion's numbers, but 21 points in the first quarter really, set the tone, because that's one thing that has been missing is a fast start, a consistent fast start. You saw it in Jacksonville, you saw it in Miami. There's been some flashes of woulda, coulda, shouldas, but anytime you can put up 3 touchdowns in a quarter, you're doing something right. You're doing something right.
Shedeur Sanders, QB1, he goes 23 of 30, 252 yards and 3 touchdowns. I tell you what, and then we have some highlight racks, if you will, catches and run after catches. Travis Hunter, I tell you what, he's as advertised, Neil.
Yeah, top billing, top billing, Chuck. That's that's like Gladys Knight and the Pips. Gladys Knight, top billing. He is top billing as advertised, as promoted, and Travis Hunter is still getting those game legs back up under him from time missed. So you have not seen him peak yet. And one thing we've stressed on this show, we stressed in August preseason, we stressed it in September and October, that it was going to take to November before you really saw this true Tiger team, because of all those missing parts on defense that are now starting to get back out there and get playing time together. So you're going to see this defense continue to peak. But back to Shedeur, you talked about those 3 passing touchdowns. Don't forget about another rushing TD.
Rushing TD.
23 of 30 passing, 252 yards, 3 TDs, you said, but he also got one on the ground. And he was able to find a tight end again. DJ Stevens scored another touchdown and found Shane Hooks as well.
DJ Stevens has really turned out to be a real weapon in this offense, the proverbial safety valve. But I tell you, nice little trickeration there in the first quarter. They were able to find DJ downfield by himself for the touch. Nice blocking downfield as well by Shane Hooks for him to get to the end zone. But DJ Stevens has really emerged as a real weapon in this Jackson State offense.
He has, and I think it's no fluke or coincidence. There's a couple of things that's happened with this Tiger team, Chuck, when you look at it. You back up and get that 30,000-foot view. Sometimes when you're sitting at the base of the mountain, you really can't get a feel for how big the mountain is. You got to back up from it. When you back up, you see 2 changes with this Tiger team, and you see the results of those changes. One, strength and condition. Brought in Maurice Sims from University of Georgia, and the level of speed and strength that this team can play with late into the game shows. You also brought in Tim Brewster, a tight ends guru. So it's no fluke that this season, unlike the season last fall or that COVID season with the asterisk bye, now you truly have tight end impact. It's not just blocking. There's another receiver out there on the field who can help change the dynamic of the offense and what that linebacker is going to do, or can a safety or corner try to get him either way. But, he's almost too big for a corner and too fast for a linebacker. So it has added a nice level threat to this offense. And those are 2 new additions that Coach Prime brought in. You remember everybody was saying, hey, it ain't broke, don't fix it. We changed strength and conditioning coach. We brought in a tight end coach, and we changed offense coordinator. 9-0.
Yeah, 9-0 going coming out of this game. You mentioned something with regards to tight end. In some offenses, that tight end can be a safety valve, but DJ is a very real threat getting downfield. Like you said, he's a matchup issue for linebackers, and if you try to bring a safety down there, he has maneuverability where he can still find himself to get open and whatnot.
Yeah, he's still getting better. You see Coach Brew on him at practice, coaching him up. You see the impact that it has in the game. He has not peaked or hit his ceiling, by any means. So I think he's going to continue to be a viable option for Shedeur Sanders as we go into these last 2 regular season games. And, of course, the SWAC championship and the Celebration Bowl, which is playing to go 13-0 and not just undefeated, but a dominant fashion. And the tight end position has really become a focal point and something you can count on. And it's just not a big position in the SWAC. You know, it's primarily somebody who's just out there for extra protection and pass protection. But the tight end at Jackson State is getting looks and getting scores.
No doubt about it. You mentioned his name earlier, but Shane Hooks, he goes for 7 catches, 76 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Shane Hooks had a big breakout game against Texas Southern.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about Travis move on that sideline. Shane had a pretty good one too.
He did. He hurdled somebody.
When Edwin Moses on the hurdles, you know, even reached back and touched the ankle, was skimming the hurdles. So it was fantastic to see that and just see the energy that this team celebrates together, plays well together, believes in each other, pushes each other. So all facets, you know, of the game really came together. You know, you had Mata once again, Automata, doesn't matter where he is. 5 for 5 on extra points. We did have a muffed punt that led to putting their offense in a favorable position that they scored off of. But pretty much, Chuck, when you dial down and look deep into those numbers, although there was a period in that second quarter that it looked like, oh man, maybe we are in a game. Mm-hmm. When you look at the numbers, although that second quarter was 0-0, our 0 is a little different from their 0, Chuck. You know, our 0 was a penalty killed a drive, a drop pass killed a drive. Their 0 was not even crossing the 50 and being in position. You know, so when you compare the numbers, you're like, oh man, that was a combative second quarter. It was really a lot of self-inflicted stuff with us. And I think that sometimes what happens, Chuck, when we get up big like that, we may not have that mindset at the moment. Man, if we scored 21 in the first quarter, why can't we score 21 every quarter? For the next 3 consecutive quarters, what I mean. Yeah. Let's go out with a 21, 21, 21, 21. But we kind of flatten. You go into halftime, Coach Prime gets them fired up again, and you come back out again. So there was a little lack of focus. Maybe the game started feeling a little too easy. So when Texas Southern came back and kind of punched us in the mouth, whether it was some questionable calls by the official or a drop pass, realizing, no, they're still kind of in this game. Then you came out second half and showed them what you could do.
Yeah, and that's something that I think you touched on it. They kind of hit a lull, if you will. Maybe too much too fast or whatever. You never, downplay that. But it did seem as though there was some self-inflicted wounds and whatnot. But they came back after second half and was able to get back in the groove of things. And, of course, we have to mention this rushing game that Jackson State has with 3-6 Mafia. You call him that. Sivion Wilkinson, 26 carries, 214 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game. I tell you what, he makes this offense completely dangerous because you not only do you have all these wideouts that you have to take care of, but now you got somebody who can catch the ball out the backfield, who can run in between the tackles, who can bounce it outside the tackles. He is truly a complete back.
And to give you a nice chip when it's time to do some pass protection as well. You know, he ain't scared to hang back there and block, as Coach Taylor used to say last year, no blocky, no rocky. So he knows how to block and add that extra body. And he's a stump now. You know, you got to want to hit him. But he is a new dynamic. He's sitting at, Chuck, 887 yards on the season, 113 from 1,000-yard season, averaging right at 98 per game, 2 regular season games left. I expect he's going to be 1,000-yard back before this season is over. But he's been a nice addition. I remember being in one of the scrimmages on campus that Coach Prime opened to the public, and our good friend John Hardy was there, and we were kind of walking off the track, and Savion was sitting there taking the spats off and stretching. And I looked up, I said, John, remember that guy's name right there. Remember Wilkinson. Like he's not necessarily the guy right now in mid-August, but watch. And sure enough, man, because you could just see it at practice when he would get his reps and make the most of them. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was that Memphis game where we had some fumbles and he was able to get his opportunity to make the most of it. And he has really just shown why he is who he is. He's a runner, man. Or as Coach Prime would say, he's a pro.
He's a pro. Exactly. I tell you what, he brings another dynamic to this Jackson State offense. Take a look at the defensive side of the ball. The number 1 ranked defense in the nation held Texas Southern to 262 yards of total offense, Neil.
Yeah, Chuck, I always like to look at people's, averages. You know how I do. Like, what's their average? What's our average? What happens if someone gets to miss their averages? And they were at 201 rushing before they played us, and we held them to about 100. They were way off on their passing. If you look at their third down opportunities, they were 3 of 16 on third down. It was just one of those processes where, they got 14 points on the board. They scored in the first quarter, and I think it was the third that they scored on.
First time all season a team has scored in the third quarter on this defense.
The first, I was Chuck. Get out of my head. Where you? Chuck, are you? Because the audience don't know. More times than not, Chuck, I do these shows in my draws. So if you in here, you got. I'm Chris Berman from the waist down over here. Chuck, where are you? Because I was just about to say that, man. We got scored on in the third quarter for the first time in what was 8.5 games at that point. And it's one of those things that Coach DT preached on. If you haven't seen it yet, scroll back in the feed and watch that sit down we did with Dennis Thurman, because he talks about that perfection concept. He talks about giving people the opportunity to score, like putting them in position to score, gift wrapping a score for them. And if we don't have to do that, but at the end of the day, 21-7, 0-0, 13-7, 7-0, Tigers win 41-14.
Yeah, and when you talk about holding down a dynamic presence, that is Andrew Body. He was only 9 of 23, 132 yards, only 32 yards on the ground. This is one of the more dynamic quarterbacks in the SWAC, and this Jackson State defense was able to hold him in check, bro.
Chuck, I don't care what it is you love to do or what it is you're good at doing. You can't do it uncomfortable.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I remember Chuck, you was in high school. You had your car out there on the reservoir. It's hard when you ain't comfortable, Chuck. It's hard when you ain't comfortable. You might still get some action, but when you ain't comfortable, Chuck, it's hard to do what you know to do. And Andrew Body was not comfortable for 4 quarters. He wasn't. If we didn't get him, we almost got him. He was hurt, he was rushed, he was flustered. There was nothing downfield for him. The run game really wasn't there for him. You could just see that this defense was in a feast mode, and there was not a lot of opportunity in front of him, and his numbers were way off playing Jackson State compared to where they normally are.
Yeah, you take a look at it defensively. Cameron Silman Craig, he led Tigers in tackles 11. Aubrey Miller Jr. had 10 of them. Jeremiah Brown had another sack in this game. Khalil Arrington had a sack. Geronte Davis, he had a tackle for loss. Desiree, oh my goodness. Got a couple of, I'm just going through here. Josh Griffin has a tackle for loss. Defensively, they played a total team effort trying to get to the ball and did a great job. Another yeoman job here.
And it was good to see some guys not only get some reps, man, but get some action. You said Josh Griffiths, that's a.k.a. Big Country, to see him out there flying around and setting the edge. And he had a sack. They got away from him as well. So it was a total team effort on defense, man. And again, if you looked at Texas Southern's averages before playing us and then looked at what they were able to do against us, even with having scored 14 points, they were below that average scoring wise. And I say it again, Chuck, and I will say it again. Nobody's going to score 3 times on us. So whether that's 3 field goals or 3 it just ain't gonna happen. This team is just built to not allow that. So they have to make the most of opportunities. They have to score off turnovers. That kind of thing. Bless you, AD. We can hear you sneezing. That kind of thing is opportunistic and fortunate on their part. And if we eliminate those things, man, it's we can pitch another shutout. Which we've done once, been close to doing it plenty of times. But you could just see in that game that that 14 points they got, we got a gift wrap.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. There are times assignment and alignment aren't in cahoots, if you will, and you tend to give up chunk plays. Credit to Texas Southern, they got an opportunity, a gift wrap, and they were able to convert on that gift wrap. But our Jackson State offense came right back after that score and put more points up on the board. So you never particularly felt as though you were threatened, although And we talk about it down on the sidelines. You can feel that angst that sometimes is in the stadium with regards to our Jackson State fan base.
Yeah, I love our fan base, man. All the ones particularly don't know a damn thing about football. I just absolutely love them. It's the passion, man. It's amazing, that this standard of perfection has been built so high, and the believe concept in it, that we all truly believe and dialed in it, that when things aren't going just perfectly right, we start to moan and groan. It was 21-7, 21 points in the first quarter. But you could just feel, and post-game, Chuck, you and I at some point get to go look and see what was happening on social media. You could kind of scroll back and see where comments were made during the game. Folks like, oh, what's wrong? We're killing ourselves. We're doing this. And that's another example of where I'm saying that 0-0 is really misleading.
Deceptive.
Yeah, it's really misleading. So, you got a guy who's got a lady at home, and he comes home drunk or too late, and she's no longer in the mood. Well, Chuck, he didn't get none. You got another guy who don't even have a lady, ain't got a phone number he can call, don't even know nobody, but he didn't get none either. But those are two different zeros, Chuck. One of them had the opportunity. He just didn't capitalize on it. The other one didn't have a damn chance, Chuck. At the end of the day, it's 0-0, but that's two vastly different zeros.
Folks, what would we do weekly without the Neely analogies? I mean, they are spot on.
Hey, they say Jesus spoke to them in parables, baby. I'm just trying to teach.
Well, as always, man, Coach Prime kicks things off, and he got our troops up and going. Let's kick it to Coach Prime in the pregame as we get ready for this Jackson State Texas Southern game.
Are we here by mistake?
No, sir.
Are we built like this?
Yes, sir.
Are we nice like this?
Yes, sir.
Are we good like this?
Yes, sir.
Then they know who is this.
Yes, sir.
This is the problem that I had. I'm thinking about how did we get here? Some people could say you came from this school, that school, that school. It's uncommon how it happened, but yet and still it did happen. Then I get deeper and I start thinking about we all came from a man into a woman, then out of woman. Then I'm trying to pray us into being a man. See, the thing that why I love dealing with men and not boys is because a man gonna be where he's supposed to be. A man gonna understand his responsibility, and that's to get the assignment done. A man gonna understand his accountability. That's making sure it gets done. A man don't blame nobody else. A man bees where he's supposed to be. He does what he's supposed to do. Whatever assignment he has, he understands it and executes it. A man don't have to announce that he's a man, because when he walk in the room, everyone knows that he's a man. Amen. So all I'm looking for, although we brought 70 guys over this trip, I'm just looking for 11 men that know their assignment, that know their alignment, that understands they're responsible, and then another 11 to hold them accountable. That's all I'm looking for. A man. So you look at the person next to you, make sure you check him out, look him up and down, and making sure he's a man. Making sure he's ready, because a man is always ready. Make sure he's capable, because a man is always capable. Make sure he understands the moment, because a man always understands the moment. And you know what else a man does? What? He says, give me my theme music.
Tell you what, Coach Prime gets us fired up every week as we got ready to take on this Texas Southern Tigers. We go out and dominate 41-14. It was a great scene in Houston again. I can't thank the Tiger fan base enough. I mean, they came full throat and they were ready to cheer.
Yeah, they did come full throat, man. Some Tiger greats were there. Robert Brazil was in the house, a lot of other former JSU legends. And, we were in a smaller venue compared to the Vet, but that place was packed to the gills. And you're right, Chuck, they were full throat. Sonic Boom did a hell of a time in the stands, keeping everybody energetic. You heard in that piece pregame, Coach Bryant said he was looking for a man, and more specifically, looking for 11 men, and then looking for 11 to hold that 11 accountable. So it's almost like Rakim when he said, 7 MCs, put them in the line, take 7 more brothers who think they can rhyme, but it takes 7 more before I go for mine. That's 21 MCs ate up at the same time. So I think he got what I think he got what he was looking for, man, because it was a 22 personnel effort. 33 you count special teams. Everybody did their part in that game. 41-14. Once again, the Tigers have a dominant victory on offense, a dominant victory on defense. We did exceed our typical 9 points a game allowed, but it really did not move the average too much because we got that nice fat zero sitting there. Zereaux. Zero is how you spell it now. We got that nice zero sitting there. So the average is still intact. And, Chuck, you're the research guy, and we're still looking at that 77 defense, that 96 defense to see when we get to the end of the season how this defense is going to stack up historically to those greats.
Yeah, we'll see how this defense stacks up to those historical greats. I tell you what, Neely did an awesome job getting some great interviews after the game. Let's go get some post-game reaction from some of the players.
2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, rushing and passing, did it all.
Yeah. Legendary. We just got to stay consistent, just do what our coaches ask, and everything going to be easy.
41 points scored.
41 points. It's supposed to be 43, really, but I'll take the 2-point conversion. I messed that up. But, yeah, though, Coach said 42.
Did they present any challenges that you didn't know about coming into the game?
I was surprised there's more cover one team. Like, that surprised me that they really, tried us like that. But, the result on the scoreboard, so you see.
9-0, first time in school history. Then we head down to Mobile for a classic.
We came here to make history, man. We all believe that. We all knew that. So this the year we got to break every record we got.
Go Tigers. 214 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Hey, we spoke into existence with the O-line. We talked about it all week. We said you had to get 200, and we did it.
How'd it feel?
Feel great. First one. Got to get another one now. Next week, another 200.
Did you see something out there on this defense that knew you could get those yards?
On film, we seen a lot of loopholes, so we knew what plays we wanted to run. There was certain run plays to run in certain formations that they got in, and we just knew it was going to hit every time.
Now, how much did that prayer with Mama help?
A lot. It always helps. We pray before every game. It helps all the time.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
DJ Stevens, another game, never touchdown.
Yes, sir. I told you 2 weeks ago, once the first one came, the rest of them just going to start rolling in. Just when my number called, I just want to make a play, do it for my team, do whatever we got to do to win, dominate.
I want to stress again, because you did tell us a couple weeks ago that once you got the first one, the doors are going to open, you're going to get another one.
Yes, sir. We got to do it during the week. We do it every day at practice, so when we come out here, it's just second nature. It's easy.
Little trick play, too.
Oh, yeah. It's just just like 2 weeks ago, just got to stay patient. I couldn't rush it. I was wide open. They just had to get in the box once I caught it.
Now, as a tight end, you also responsible for blocking. Had a running back go for over 200 yards tonight.
Oh, yeah. That goes to the wide receiver and the O-line, just everybody all together. It's a team effort. I just try to do my part, do whatever I can do to help my teammates make plays.
9-0, now we go to Mobile for Alabama A&M.
Oh, yeah. We finna clinch the East, and the SWAC got to come through the SWAC Championship in Jackson, Mississippi, December 3rd.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Hey, they tried to go at 12 a couple times tonight. It wasn't happening.
Yeah, it's never going to happen, man. It's my island. I'm locked down all day. I want them to keep trying it, though.
Hey, you also had a big run down that sideline, little spin move.
Yeah, you know, when the ball in my hand, it's dangerous, man. I'm magic. It's playmaking ability going crazy out here.
Hey, when you came here, it made history, and now history again. We are 9-0, first time ever in Jackson State history.
Yes, sir. We're going to keep working. We're going to go ahead and accomplish something the other teams couldn't accomplish. We're going to win it all this year.
Go Tigers.
Yeah, go Tigers.
Shane Hook, 7 receptions, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Blur Nation.
You know, you've been saying Blur Nation all spring, all summer. I think 9-0, they believe it now.
Yes, sir, they do. Blur Nation.
Did the defense show you anything tonight that you didn't expect?
No, sir. The defense, I mean, we just studied them all week. They came out and everything that they showed on film. Double cloud, cover 3, cover 1. We already knew what it was, so we just came out and executed against their defense.
9-0, first time in school history.
9-0. JSU finna make history. We finna go 13-0.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
4-5.
4-5, this shit don't stop.
Hey, man, I ain't even got time to look up all the tackles for losses. 4-5 was in the mix tonight.
I mean, hey, thanks to the D-line, thanks to the secondary, man, doing their own job. This want to work. When everybody do their job, this want to work.
When you talk about your film preparation and practice, did they show you anything tonight that you weren't ready for?
I mean, the only thing is the quarterback ain't keep it as much. We expected the quarterback to try and have a Hall of Fame game against us. He didn't keep it as much. Other than that, man, we hurt ourselves. Everything they did, we expected them to do. They didn't do anything we didn't expect. We hurt ourselves.
We talk about chasing greatness and making history. 9-0, the first time in Jack State history, we're 9-0.
I mean, that's what was expected. That's what we talked about before I came here, before Coach came here. We talked about this from day one, making change, and we doing it. So it's kind of different when you already expect it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like reading a book, you already know what it's about.
So you know the ending?
I know the ending.
13-0.
13-0. This shit don't stop.
Go Tigers.
Big 4-5. Aubrey
Big
Miller
4-5.
Jr. I tell you what. Tigers 9-0 going into this game versus Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M will be coming into this game 3-6, 3-3 in conference play. A little different Alabama A&M team from last year. Quincy Casey at the helm. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger. But Quincy is the quarterback now at Alabama A&M. Big game against Mississippi Valley in that loss. He threw for over 350 yards. But as we always do, we review Texas Southern, but you have to turn the page, and we will be previewing Alabama A&M. But different Alabama A&M team this season.
Yeah, it's a different team, worse team. Yeah, maybe they need more 5 stars. I don't know, Chuck. Hey, man, I'm a counterpuncher. You swing at me, I swing back. Quick rewind, though, because we're going to point the same thing out with this Alabama A&M team. Texas Southern, and it's not going to sound like much, but in aggregate over the course of a game, it is. Texas Southern came in averaging 4.1 yards per carry. Jackson State held them to 3. Like the running game disappeared. Their ability to stay on the field after third down disappeared. You're going to see a similar thing fast forward when we get down to Mobile with this Alabama A&M team when we deep dive into that game on Saturday. But just a couple of highlights as we get ready to wrap, Chuck. Just like you said, Quincy, once a Tiger, always a Tiger. But also you got to say, anytime you got 2 quarterbacks, you ain't got 1. They're running a 2-quarterback system. You know, number 8, Quincy Casey, who played here at Jackson State, and also number 16, Xavier Langford. When they're on the field, there's some signs that you can look for. One of them is a runner, one of them is a passer. If 16 is on the field, you know, it's looking like a run formation.
Right.
So, you know, there's a lot of opportunity and nuggets in what this team has done and some things that they just haven't done well this season. Keep this in mind, Chuck. Coach Prime has played this team twice. One time in Jackson during the spring, they got us, but we still scored 40+. We went to their homecoming and scored 60+. So this is a team that this team can score on. And now, just like we had last year for their homecoming, we got a defense that can stop them from scoring. This is also one of the most penalized teams in college football. They're not a disciplined team and don't have a very good third down rate. There's going to be some opportunity galore as we face this Alabama A&M team, Chuck. But as Coach Prime said, that's a David around the corner for Goliath. And, you know, we got 2 Davids left, not taking anything at all for granted. Can't take anything away from this Alabama A&M team. They got scholarship players. They got 45-pound plates in their weight room. Everybody's going to come to give Jackson State their best. This is a home game for us, but it's in Mobile. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to getting down to Mobile, a huge alumni base down there. It is the home of Dr. Doom himself, Robert Brazil.
So shout out to speaking of doctors, what's his name? Dr. Set It Off. Shout out to Carl Cunningham and
Carl Cunningham.
Sonic Boom alumni president. Can't wait to get down to Mobile, man. Dr. Doom, Robert Brazil, who was very instrumental in putting this game together. Great alums like Carl Cunningham down there. Short drive from Jackson. It's going to be a home game, Chuck.
Yeah, it's going to be a home game for our Jackson State fan base. I tell you what, one of the things that you hear, especially around here, Jackson State brought that crowd, and now you're starting to see it with Celebration Bowl tickets. I'm hearing that that Jackson State side is, for the most part, sold out. So, like you said, there's a David around every corner. You got to take one game at a time. So, Alabama A&M is next up.
Speaking of that Celebration Bowl, Chuck, I wasn't going to bring it up, but you bring it up. But sometimes, we motivate capitalism. When you get out there all hyped and associated and get out there all hyped on social media, they got algorithms and bots watching for all this. So, of course, the third-party buyers go up there and buy up all the tickets to resell them at a higher price. So sitting around saying, hey, man, boycott stuff, but who are you going to get them from? Like, if they're gone, you got to get them from somebody. Like, they ain't printing more. Hey, get in where you fit in, dog. It's called being successful. It's like, I'm telling you, Chuck, it's like the Don told Frank Lucas, Denzel Washington. Your success took a shot at you. What are you going to do? How are you going to kill it? You going to become unsuccessful? This is a part of being successful. Tickets are in high demand. Not just you want to see them anymore. Now, back during that Bell era, you could have bought you 30 tickets for a bucket of crystals, a sack of crystals, that 24-pack. Not with cheese, though. You couldn't get them with cheese because they weren't worth a damn thing. Now we got a hot ticket. People want to come from all over. So everyone is assuming that Jackson State is going to host the SWAC championship. Everyone is assuming Jackson State is going to win the SWAC championship. That means Jackson State will be in the Celebration Bowl. That makes that ticket a hot item ticket. Now, internally with this program, we are focused on Alabama A&M. It is one step at a time in this process. Now, a victory over Alabama A&M, no matter what FAMU or anybody else does, mathematically locks it that the SWAC championship will be in Jackson. So we can clinch the SWAC East this weekend.
Yeah, and let's pull up that graphic as far as taking a look at the SWAC standings, because there is a lot on the line this weekend, taking on Alabama A&M. As you mentioned, Jackson State can clinch the SWAC East this weekend. Thereby, we will be hosting the SWAC championship game, coming into that with a 10-0 record, where we will await whoever comes out of the SWAC West. DJ Stevens, tremendous promos. The SWAC championship has to come through Jackson on December 3rd. December 3rd. If everybody's listening, the SWAC championship is December 3rd.
And leave that graphic up there, Brother AD, if you will, because there's some things that I think that a lot of folks don't conceptualize. Yes, we have divisions in the SWAC, but you have to keep in mind all SWAC games still count. So you see us with that 6-0, but because there are 2 games left, if we were, God forbid, to drop those 2 games and FAMU could win out or whatever, then you have some different situations there. So that's why you see us with this insurmountable lead on paper, but it's not a mathematical clinch until we win one more, because FAMU kept winning as well, just like what happened last year. Jackson State played FAMU. Both people went on a winning streak. After that, nobody could catch up. But if we win against Alabama A&M, when we win at the end of that game, it's a mathematical lock. We have clinched. But Chuck, look down there at the bottom. The West is a mess, brother. It's still Prairie View is still up top, but it's by the razors of thin margins, and everybody down there got 2 games left to play. It's looking like Prairie View Jackson State a rematch in Jackson, but who the hell knows? Because anything can happen in the West.
Yeah, anything can happen in the West. Still a lot to play for over there on that side of the ball. There is one certain team down there in Baton Rouge that is hoping against all hope for a miracle to happen. So we will see what happens with regards to the SWAC West. But I tell you what.
You can take the graphic down there, D. Appreciate you.
Yes, indeed. I tell you what, it's going to be a fun time down there in Mobile this weekend. Looking forward to it. Again, we're Jackson State fan base travels in droves. Looking forward to making that another home game. We are the home Blues this weekend. So Be sure to pack your blue this weekend, Jackson State fan base.
Yeah, tell them, Chuck. Talk to them. Talk to them. One thing else I want to point out, I know, Chuck, we always wait until Saturday to deep dive on the opponent because we don't want to start talking about what all we know on hump day and they start trying to make some adjustments. But, you know, when you ain't got a lot of talent, ain't a lot of adjustments you can do. That's my quote, not yours. I go on record saying that. I'm just looking down at some of the past game stats, man. When you look at, again, Quincy Casey, play quarterback here for us at Jackson State, 5 touchdowns on the season, 5 interceptions. If you look at number 16, Xavier Lanford, their dual quarterback system, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. These guys, this team has been known to throw interceptions, it has been known to fumble, and is also known to be penalized. So it's going to be interesting to see how our defense, if we stay disciplined, alignment, assignment, technique, do our jobs, how we can feast on these opportunities. Because when you look at their scoring averages, when you look at what they do compared to what their opponents do, it's why their record is what their records. But you can throw records out the window when you have a classic and a SWAC opponents. But, you know, they've been scoring 20, 21 and giving up 34. Passing yards have been passing 226, but giving up 231. And the list goes on and on. So going to be interesting to see when we deep dive after tomorrow's meetings with the team, Chuck, and really see what's going to be in place Saturday, midday, when we go live with the pregame show. Prior to that, I think we got a 4 p.m. kickoff, is it?
Yeah, I believe it is a 4 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah, I think it's a 4 p.m. kickoff down there in Mobile. Going to be a great weekend, man. Should be some great weather not far from Jackson. It's a home game as far as the facility goes. It's a home game literally with us on the classic side, and it's a home game in distance. We should go down there, as Chuck likes to say, go full throat, man.
Go full throat. Looking forward to it. It is going to be a fun time down there in Mobile this weekend. Looking forward to our Jackson State Tigers going down there to get the W and clinch the SWAC East. No better place to put a pin in it. We're going to do that deep dive looking at the Alabama A&M on Saturday. But as always,
I'll laugh at Chuck because I glanced down at the comments. Spence Matthews said the 72, Alabama A&M 9. I don't think they're going to get 9, Spence.
Oh, God, Spence.
He said 72 to 9. Like,
man, say it with your chest, Spence. Oh, my God.
Hey, Chuck, I believe, man, this is a favorable matchup. You know, this is one of those games where, you know, again, because of, you know, some of the smack that is taking place from their coach in past seasons, you know, our team is up for it. Their team is up for it. Yeah. Sometimes you throw records out the window, but when you look at matchups, what their offense does poorly, our defense does well. What their defense does poorly, our offense does well. So it's going to be cold air, hot air mix gives you a tornado.
Yeah,
probably gonna be a tornado down there in Mobile.
But I think you said one of the key things, this team stays focused, and you mentioned it. There's a David around every corner looking to take down Goliath. So you go into these games, you know, taking them one game at a time. So the focus isn't somewhere down the line. It's on Saturday. And I think that's a huge thing that separates this football team from a lot of others.
I agree, Chuck. And I think that's what's gotten us where we are, that they're not – the vision board, if you will, has always said 13-0, dominant fashion, finished by winning the Celebration Bowl. But preparation-wise focus is 1-0. And we have gone 1-0 9 times now. And so this is going to be the effort to go 1-0 for the 10th time. And so this team is focused and dialed in. You know, you heard DJ Stevens talk about that. The SWAC championship will be back in Jackson, which we all agree with that. And when we know we plan on winning that going to Celebration Bowl. But I'm telling you, man, preparation and focus-wise, this team is locked in on Alabama A&M for Saturday afternoon down there in Mobile.
Looking forward to it as always. Our sponsors of the pregame show, Chambers and Gaylor, BioSteel, Amber Slaughter, the project architect. Thank you for your continued support of the pregame show. Thank you to Jackson State fan base and the HBCU fan base, as always. I mean, giving us the shout out. So really appreciate everything that you pump us up as we try to bring you this Jackson State content week in, week out. I tell you what, it is a labor of love. We enjoy doing it.
And 2 things, Chuck, as we close it out, to the fan base and everyone who supports us, watch this program. We went over 31,000 subscribers on YouTube today. Could not be done with y'all. Closing in on 14 million views. Could not be done with y'all. And if you ever want to feel good and get a pick-me-up, you take that BioSteel down in the corner and put some Tito's vodka in it. Not that I've done it. I'm telling you, you're going to be game day ready. Chuck, that's all I got.
Let's all get game day ready for Saturday as the pregame show will come back to you, and we'll do this deep dive looking at Alabama A&M. It is the Gulf Coast Challenge. Jackson State comes in 9-0, taking on the 3-6 Alabama A&M Bulldogs. Until Saturday, it's Bishop, it's Neely, it's the pregame show.
Can they get some five? Can they get some 5 stars before Saturday? We out.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and for all those who's listening and watching it from around the world. And we are now live from the corner of Dalton and Lynch Street. It's the show where we take you inside the game before the game begins. It's the pregame with your host, Charles Bishop and Neely. So get ready because we pregame harder than the other show's party. It's the pregame.